I'm not taking my shirt off, Andrea. I don't think the RV park's ready for that, especially that lady over there. How you doing?
Why can't there be a target close? Like, get out of this filming again. I love Target, don't get me wrong, but I don't mind helping him out by filming because I'm so thankful he does some of these small RV maintenance things himself. Saves us a few bucks, I'm sure. So, you got someone in your RV that does the maintenance? It can cost a lot to keep one of these things rolling. I gotta say, Florida is a sunshine state, but Idaho's pretty sunny too, and you get this breeze and no humidity. I mean, it's different. Feels good out here. It's a super nice windy day, so we're trying to use this little like lapel mic. I have no idea how it's gonna sound. So I don't know. Nice and breezy here in the west.
Okay, we got a couple maintenance items we want to get done today. One is we want to do a back flush and a regeneration on our on-the-go water softener. And so I've already disconnected it. So the first thing I want to do is a back flush. And the back flush for the double standard is you unhook both inlet and outlet. Then you take the inlet water source and then you hook it into the outlet side of the water softener, and then you flush it full flush for 5 to 10 minutes for our model. So, and they will provide you a female to female adapter to help you out. So let's put that on. So now we're going to do a full flush. I'm going to turn the water on. And it says 5 to 10 minutes for our model. How many of you use water softeners on the road? All right, that completes the back flush process. So we're going to do a regen process next. So it's important that if you do both processes, that you do the back flush first and then do the regen process. And the regen process entails basically emptying the tank, adding more salt, and then flushing a little bit more. The next step is just to drain the tank. If it gets to where the water doesn't come out, then you just bang it on the ground a few times to get the resin to fall back down. You may see a little resin on the top, but it's okay. So the next step is to add the salt, which you grab. Now the double standard tank, like we have, takes two 26-ounce boxes, and this may pile up a little bit. There's a couple different ways to do this, but one is just directly pour it in. And if it gets stopped up at the top a little bit, just take some water and rinse it down. Alright, put the water, replace the cap, and from there you'll take, here's the out and here's the in. So you're going to replace the in, put the in back on, and then the next step is just to do a small flush. And it says for a double standard it's going to be 24 to 30 minutes, and the stream just needs to clear the tank, and it's about a pencil size. So let me turn the water on. Okay, from there we're going to let this thing sit for the next 25 minutes or so, and then we'll actually test the water after. Actually, we do a full flush and then we'll test the water after that. All right, so what we did was we did the trickle, basically a little bit of flush for 24 to 30 minutes. We did about 8 minutes. And then after that, you put it on full blast for the next 6 to 8 minutes for the double standard model. And so the last thing to do is I poured a little bit of water in a cup, So the last thing to do is just to test it, use some test strips. Drop it in 2 seconds. 1,000, 2, 1,000. And it says to compare it against the chart.
Ooh, that's soft.
So you want to be between 0 and 3 grains per gallon.
Seeing the glare, but I'd say it's definitely green. Yep.
Yeah.
Yay, you did it.
So that's it. So you want to do that about every 3 months. And so we're going to actually, and there is some different instructions if you have harder water, but we're kind of in a normal area. So that's it. All you got to do now is hook it back up and connect your water.
Let me sneak this in here too. I feel like out of my sink, so our bathroom, this one's mine, this one's his, but I feel like when I first turn my water on, there's a smell, but not in his sink. Anyone know why that could be? It can't just be me, right? I mean, after a few minutes that smell goes away, but I feel like there's a smell in there. Tell me below what it is so we can fix it.
All right, next up, we're going to change the anode rod in our hot water heater. You should do this about every year. I've read things that said every 1 to 3 years, but being full-timers, you should do it every year. And wow, you should have seen the one I pulled out last year. I could not believe it. Wait, check this out. Not good. I'm really hoping that the one I put in last year this time is not going to look like that, because I may have more serious problems. So first thing we need to do, just take our cover off. Mine's a little bit sticky, came off pretty easy there. The next thing you want to do is you're going to want to make sure you turn the hot water off, the hot water heater off. I did inside last night, so I'm going to go ahead and turn the main power off here. But I did check the water. There's no hot water in there because you don't want hot water pouring out on you. Next up, you're going to want to release the pressure off of this. So there you go. And be careful when you take this off. Just ease it out because it has a lot of pressure. There's a lot of water in there. So just make sure you have no issues.
Dun, dun, dun.
There we go.
Way better than
That looks nothing like the one we had last year. The one we had last year, you saw it. It was like a pencil. And this one is doing its job for sure. So the next thing we want to do.
Wow. Why is that coming out?
It's water in the hot water here.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to let that thing flush just for a second. We're going to take our little hot water. Forget all my mic here.
It's all wrapped around.
All wrapped around. I'm a hot mess right now.
Yeah.
All right.
This is a wireless mic.
Definitely. We're going to give a little flush, help get some of that out. Let's flush a little bit more. What do you think? There's a lot of water in your hot water heater. Look at all the particles. Whew. It's almost all came out now. So this water tank carries 10 gallons in it, so you can see there's a lot of water trying to come out. So we need to kind of flush a little bit more and see what else is left in there. You can see there's still a little more sediment coming out. Quite a bit, actually. This is nothing like last year's, I can tell you that right now. I couldn't believe last year's, how much had to come out. But you can see it's got to be part of our water softener too. That's all salt on my my hand there, my arm. And I'm gonna keep flushing this until everything comes out, because I can still see some particles in there. And
Flush till it's clean.
flush till it's clean. I'll tell you what I did last year, and I haven't opened this up yet. So I hope this ain't gonna happen this year. So last year, I didn't have this door completely shut. And after everything started rolling out, all said and done, I was cleaning up, I opened my door, my whole bay was full of water. So I did push this really good and tight. It should not leak. We'll find out here in a minute. Oh, I still feel a lot in there, so. Look at all this.
Salt bath.
Salt bath. A lot more coming out there.
That's a nifty pool.
I should have put my bathing suit on, because I'm going to be completely soaked by the time it's all said and done. Woo-hoo. I'm not taking my shirt off, Andrea. I don't think the RV park's ready for that, especially that lady over there. How you doing? What? Did you get that?
I got that.
I've had previous Anode rods that didn't have the tape on them already, but these already have the Teflon tape. But if not, make sure you put some Teflon tape on there. And I will turn it back on once we put a little bit of water in the tank, and then I'll turn it back on. It's still turned off on the inside, but I'm just going to make sure. Put my pressure valve back down. That's good. We'll wipe all this down and put the cover back on.
Let's check the bay.
Oh man, here we go. Dun dun dun. Did the bay get wet? Nope. The bay is dry.
A little bit of stuff up there though.
The bay's dry, but all around here is all that salt mixture. So what I'm going to do,
And on the inside of the door.
on the inside the door, so I am going to just take my trusty tank flush here and make sure any salt, especially the salt and residue I got. Do not want Winston to be salty, not like his mama. What? So this is probably not going to get all the salt, but I'll wipe it all down, rubber seal, make sure we get it all out.
Let's go find Peyton. He's supposed to be doing some maintenance on the RV before we take off.
Hey!
I thought... Are you going for a bike ride?
Nope, just doing a lot of maintenance.
With a helmet on.
Hey, you know how many times I've hit my head under here? All right, just kidding, just kidding. But be careful when you're under there. There's a lot of sharp objects, and try not to mess up the moneymaker here. Doing a little maintenance today on the diving boards. So we used a 3-in-1 slide out silicone lube, and the main thing is just to keep these things good and smooth so when they go in. There's some nylon glides in here, and if these things are not smooth, they will break those guides. How do we know? How do we know, babe? Because we have replaced those. See that video. But you can put some on a rag if you want, and just lube it up. Or if you want to spray some, don't get it on your rig. Just that simple. And the glides in here, there's 2 nylon glides, and what I do is I just tap just a little bit of silicone on them, and that's it. We have 5 boards, diving boards that we do, and so I just need to knock those out.
On to the next thing.
On to the next thing. We have 4 levelers, and I'm going to go ahead and use the same stuff. There's multiple things you can use, but the bottom line is keep them clean and keep them lubed with a good product. One that preferably doesn't collect a lot of dust. You can crawl up in here. I've already wiped this one off, but I always take a rag and wipe it off first, and then I'll put a little product on it. Again, depending on how much you want to put on there, you can put it on your rag and just wipe it around. right, the last thing we're going to do today is the Swintech Slides. The Swintech Slides have a gear plastic mechanism that runs the gear that slides right along in here. And if this thing gets rough, that plastic won't slide, and when plastic doesn't slide, it breaks. How do we know that? Because we've already replaced one out already. So from the experts that fix these, they had me get the CRC Power Lube high performance lubricant with PTFE. Hey, drop a comment below if you know what PTFE is. I still don't. Anyway, you don't need to grease this. This is where the gears are. Don't put anything in here, but keep them cleaned out best you can. Just put a little bit right in this little slot. Take your rag. Just make sure it's good and clean, slick. Just like that. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 8 total for our rear slides. So that's it, babe. That's all I got. CRC.
So we stayed at this park for a whole month, so it's our first time ever like having to pay for power. So I'm excited to see tomorrow when they come read our pedestal how much power we use this month. Also, our watchdog popped off more here than anywhere ever, so it was interesting. I'm actually going to walk to the office right now and see how exactly this power thing's going to work. So like I said, there's a monthly rate, which is way cheaper than the daily or even the weekly. With that comes you got to pay for your power though. So they read your meter when you come in and they read your meter when you go out. I can show you some of the stuff this park has too. Has the pool, has a jacuzzi, has a pickleball court. We've used them all. Not very often because we're in this RV park because it's close to where my mom is, so we've been at her house a lot. Here it is, dog park. That's kind of nice. And they got a human kid park. So your dogs and your kids can be playing right next to each other. And then they've got the pool jacuzzi area here. So here's that for all you pool lovers. Right on this side, pickleball's over there. A little tether ball. Looks like a little horseshoes. Also, you can see right there that man getting in the golf cart. He's going to escort that guest to their spot. You don't even have to get out of your car here. They come out, greet you, you tell them where you're at. They take you to your spot. Oh, they're going to have some fun. So, the answer is they'll come by and read it in the morning, and we can either call them and pay them, or stop by the office on our way out. I'll let you know what that reading is tomorrow. I almost didn't even tell you about the power bill. It wasn't bad. It was like 130 something for the month. I guess Idaho has one of the lower kilowatt rates, even though it was warm and we ran our air. Wasn't bad. 130 for the month, you know, 485 and 130. Not a bad month's day. We're on the road again. Feeling that bad boy next.
Thank you.